Today, we're going to focus on several things. I'm going to teach you 5 unique strategies to land equity deals in 2025. We're going to go over 3 secrets to making consulting for equity easy and a lot less friction than what you may have experienced so far. I'm going to teach you how to get business owners to offer you equity in their business. And doing all this with no risk and being able to have no money out of pocket and actually get paid from day one. Well, my goal is to absolutely exceed expectations. If you've been on any of my trainings before, my goal is to give, 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 give. That's what I do. I do a lot of webinars. I teach a lot of the post-acquisition integration, post-acquisition growth. I help people like yourself have confidence and have a roadmap and a blueprint on how to do consulting for equity and to do business acquisitions where you can predict success and be successful. And you can do that with the right confidence because you know exactly what to do. So let's dive in. I'm going to talk to you about how to land equity partnerships in 2025. A little bit about me, just in case you don't know me. Business acquisitions and real estate investor. I'm also a long-term hold investor. I was in the real estate business for over 12 years. My team sold over $400 million in sales volume. And I also have a portfolio of over 25 companies. I am partner with Carl at Dealmaker Wealth Society as well. As quite the portfolio we have together. I'm really an overachiever. I love to win trophies, as you can see behind me, and that's my big focus. Is I've always been out trying to do something amazing with my life. I've been on American Ninja Warrior and a finalist. I've won very big awards like the ones you see behind me in business, Inc. 5000s, ClickFunnels Awards, written 2 best-selling books. That was over 10 years ago. I'm a full-time marketing business consultant, business growth coach, and that's me. But I've done a lot of deals as well. I've done a lot of consulting for equity deals. I was doing consulting for equity deals way before I even knew what it was. I've had 4 exits. I know I look really young. I may sound young. I have kids in high school. I'll be 39 in a couple of days, but I got started really, really quickly at age 18, and I haven't looked back. So really excited to be able to share all my wisdom and experience and successes with you to kind of give you a faster path to success, and especially with consulting for equity. So today we're going to focus on several things. I'm going to teach you 5 unique strategies to land equity deals in 2025. We're going to go over 3 secrets to making consulting for equity easy and a lot less friction than what you may have experienced so far. I'm going to teach you how to get business owners to offer you equity in their business. And doing all this with no risk and being able to have no money out of pocket and actually get paid from day one. I'm going to show you a faster path to acquisitions, a path that doesn't have to deal with difficult business brokers, a path that doesn't have to raise capital or go out and secure financing. I'm going to show you a way to do this and have all the benefits of business ownership with no risk a lot faster. And I'm not going to dog traditional business acquisitions. I buy companies all the time with Carl. We love it. This is what we do here at Dealmaker Wealth Society. But I do understand that there is a certain number of you who want a faster path to acquisitions, or you want a path that doesn't have to deal with brokers, or you want a path that doesn't have to deal with raising capital or getting SBA loans and putting PGs on your house, or you're looking for a way to trade what you've been doing for the last 20 years and your experience and your expertise and your knowledge, your wisdom, your connections for equity in somebody's business and get paid from day one. I understand that's to be true. That's why we're here today. And let me tell you, there's been 2 major shifts that we've seen over the last 2 years, both on the deal maker side and the business owner side. First, on the deal maker side, exactly what we just talked about. There's people who are looking to have new creative deal structures and find a way to open up more opportunities. There's a lot of people who are pursuing acquisitions. A lot of you on here said you were, and you're looking for a way to monetize that journey while you're pursuing acquisitions, be able to make money. So if you do acquisitions and you're focused for 9, 10, 12 months on it, you're not coming up with no money earned if you haven't got a deal done yet. There's people who are choosing to pursue consulting for equity deals as their main focus. As you saw, there's quite a few people, I think, who put 6 in the chat or 4 in the chat that were just going after this because this is truly, I think, the best kept secret in business and business acquisitions. And then there's others that are doing a lot of stuff and they want to be able to add another tool to their tool belt. So we've seen this shift with deal makers. And then on business owners, this is really cool. We've seen that the business owner mindset has shifted quite a bit in the last 10 years. We've seen that so many business owners for a long time kind of hoarded their equity. And now we're seeing people open up and they're much more open to partnering than we've ever seen before. And it makes sense if you really study why. There's so many people who go out and try to solve things on their own. There's a lot of business owners who feel like they're on an island and they are alone. There's people who have figured out that they're not really great at managing people. They're not really good at holding people accountable. They're not great at hiring. And instead of going out and always trying to find new people coming in and they have a revolving door, they're looking for someone that they can partner with, someone who's already been successful, where they can feel like they're taking the right risk and they're actually predicting that bringing somebody in is going to get them what they want. And they're tired of going the other route. And this is absolutely true. And we see it every single day. I'm a walking testimony for this. I literally get equity offered to me every single day by business owners. And I'm not exaggerating. I can show you the text every single day. People are looking for help. People have problems, especially in 2024. Wow, there's a lot of businesses. I read a study that 80% of small businesses under 5 million in revenue were down by at least 20% in 2024. You can go look that up. People need help. People want to bring somebody in that have an ownership mentality like they do. People want to bring somebody in who they don't have to manage. They want to bring somebody in who's already been successful at doing what they're looking to do so they can skip the learning curve and they can get past it. There's so many business owners that are open to this, and it will blow your mind once you get inside the matrix. And let me show you how it works, right? And I think that starts with really stopping and saying, what do business owners really want? What do they really want? In acquisitions, we all think they want to sell. They want to get out of it. They have a high MUD score. If someone's new to our world, that's motivation, urgency, and distress, right? But what they really want is they want more sales. They want more profits or increased profit margins. They want more time. They want to get rid of stress. They want to spread out the risk. They want to expand into new products, new markets, new geographic areas, new services. They want to feel more secure. They want to hand off responsibilities. Sometimes they need help raising capital. They need help with their finances. They're not very profitable, or they don't trust their bookkeeper or accountant. They need help with growth. They need help with somebody coming in and taking the reins on their marketing because that's not their expertise. There's all these visionaries out there that are flying blind and they have no ability to execute. God bless them. They need integrators. They need someone to help execute their vision. A lot of business owners say, I've taken this business as far as I can take it alone, and I don't want it to die. I want it to thrive. I want it to live on, and I need somebody to step in and help me. Okay, this is absolutely true. And a lot of people also want to grow through acquisition, and they don't have the ability to go out and hire an acquisition team. This is what they want. Let me tell you a story. I remember Pace and I have shared the stage many times together, and he heard me teach on consulting for equity back in, I believe, February of 2022, came up to me in Newark, New Jersey in July of 2022 and told me, and this may have been 23. Yeah, 23. And he said, hey, I remember your consulting for equity. I went out and did it, and he landed a huge deal. And it was so interesting because when you stop and say, for me, when you take inventory in your own life and say, what do I have that I can trade for equity? For him, it was his name, it was his credibility, it was his reach, it was his audience. And he ended up doing a deal that made him a ton of money with almost no effort, right? But for you, I want you to think about that. What do business owners want? And how do we match that with what that you have available to trade for equity? It's your time, your experience, your expertise, your resources, your wisdom, your network. Maybe it's your ability to raise capital. Maybe it's your ability to buy businesses and help someone grow through acquisition. So I want you to think about that as we're going through this process. And we've had so many students see huge success with consulting for equity. My buddy Eric here has done, I think, quite a few consulting for equity deals. Looks like over 12. And he has a very unique method that he does. And he has a very specific buy box, and he stays in his lane, and he helps grow granite countertop businesses and roofing companies. We also have Brittany, who's one of our partners at Buy and Build Advisors, who has done a lot of consulting for equity deals. She's a CFO, a fractional C-suite type person. And there's so many people that bring her in for a lot of reasons into their businesses to make them more profitable, to actually have better tracking and attribution as a financial handler. And she can just pick up deals left and right because of the skills that she has. We have people like Jeshua and Kay, and then this is actually not Clive in the picture, this is Chuck, but people who are landing consulting for equity deals constantly. And people are doing deals together too. It's proteges and other students we have in other programs are doing deals together, hopping on other people's deal teams, adding their value and getting upside. I'll tell you another story. My buddy, Dr. Sam, this is he and I and a couple of our other people who closed deals recently at our Dealmaker Live event back in September in Orlando. And my buddy, Dr. Sam, is doing consulting for equity roll-ups where he's not even getting, he's not buying the companies. He's getting paid multiple six figures to come in as a partner. They're paying him. He's getting 19 to 20% of their business, and he's doing a roll-up. There's all these different ways to do it. So let's keep going, trying to make this very succinct for you because I want to value your time. What is consulting for equity? For those of you who don't know exactly what it is, and even for those who think they know what it is, I want you to wipe that clean right now and listen to this. Consulting for equity is adding value in exchange for upside, okay? partnering with business owners in exchange for plugging in what you do or to solve their bleeding problems and essentially becoming a partner in the company. I want you to think about this very carefully, and I want you to understand exactly what I'm saying. The word consulting and the word equity are both very loose terms in the way that we teach consulting for equity. You're not only able to do consulting for equity if you're a consultant. You can plug in what you do in exchange for upside, value for upside, right? So it could be growth for equity, marketing for equity, process and system design for equity, jumping in and handling the operations for equity, being a CFO for equity, helping them increase their product, profitability for equity. It'd be opening a door to a big client they want for equity. There's all these things. And also, it's not always appropriate to get quote unquote real equity in a business. And there's ways to do it where you can really benefit from business ownership without all the risk by structuring it in different ways. And I teach all those things. You can do consulting for rev share or profit share, equity options, profit interest partnership. It could be a certain milestone you hit where you get a cash out. There's all these different ways you can do it. So I want to make sure you understand that, hey, I'm not a consultant, Chris. This is still available for you. And I want you to think about how your superpowers can match what business owners really want. I mean, if you're really good at growing businesses, there's a lot of things that business owners need from someone who has a proven track record of growing businesses and even growing through acquisitions. People who have operations specialties or Six Sigma or Lean are people who are business consultants. Like there's such a path for you in consulting for equity, right? So let's dive into what we're learning today. That was just the beginning. Let's 5 unique strategies to land equity deals in 2025. So I want you to take notes. So go back to the business owner mindset matrix. It's all about people are looking for help. So the first strategy I'm going to teach you today is partnering with the business owner to specifically help them solve a bleeding problem in their business. Think about what business owners want. We talked about that. And guess what? This is exactly how I'm here today with you. I started as a consulting for equity partner with Carl. And I came in and he gave me half his company after I proved myself. And he started me out at 10% profit interest partnership at that moment. But I did it because he had a bleeding problem in his business. He had sold his business to another company. They didn't do very well with it. He carved it back out and he was trying to bring it back to life so he could be here just like me with you, teaching you life-changing skill sets to help you buy cash flowing businesses. And without me stepping in when I did, in this consulting for equity relationship, the business wouldn't be where it is today. I've over 10x that company in the first 24 months because that's my God-given skill set is growing businesses. So I'm showing you that this is actually something that is very, very lucrative that you can do. And it comes down to understanding what business owners want. And we'll talk about that in more detail a little later. And I want you to remember, you don't have to be a consultant. It's what you're bringing, the value you're bringing in exchange for upside in a business rather than just being hired as a consultant and rather than taking them on as a client. Okay, so it's a great way to do that. Strategy number 2, you can flip your current deal flow. Those of you who are already focused on traditional business acquisitions, you have deals in the hopper, you're talking to sellers, right? You're doing what we call X, Y, and Z in Protege, originate deals, meet sellers, make offers. You can simply flip your current deal flow conversations to consulting for equity opportunities. And this is something I teach a lot. It's called the Catch-22 talk track. And it's pretty interesting how well this works because there's so many deals that you'll talk to, so many sellers that you'll speak with that have a lot of transfer of value issues. There's reasons why the bank would be nervous and the bank won't finance. So there's reasons why investors, equity or debt won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. And these can play to your benefit. It's the Catch-22 talk track that works so well in this scenario. And it's like, hey, listen, I love your business. I'd love to find a way to help you. And I'd love to have a way to move forward. But unfortunately, there's quite a few things holding this transaction back. And it's talking about what makes the bank nervous, blah, blah, blah. And then you say, interestingly enough, if I was already in the business, I could work towards solving a lot of these issues, which is stopping the business from being financeable. So there could be a path forward where we could work together, bring me in as a partial partner. I will get to work quickly on getting the business back in shape where it is financeable, and then I could buy you out from there. That is a great option. So many people are doing it. The other thing I want you to think about here is there's a lot of people who are doing off-market deal origination, which is what you should be doing. That is the better of the two focuses versus just broker deals. And I want you to think about this concept. There's a lot of times people decide to sell their business because they think that's the right route. But technically, a lot of times they are just looking for symptom relief. Remember what they want. They want more money. They want better profit margins. They want to relieve stress. They want to spread out the risk. A lot of times they have a bleeding problem and they feel like selling the business is their only option. There's a lot of times where if a certain thing was no longer true, if you were able to cross that out and the symptoms were relieved, people aren't necessarily always interested in selling their business. I can't tell you how many times I've spoken to somebody who said, "You're the person I've been waiting for. You're the person that I wish I had on my team. If I had someone like you, I wouldn't even want to sell. I would still be excited," right? There's so many ways that you can go in and find out what the bleeding problems are and find symptom relief and be able to make money and get equity partnerships landed without even having to buy the business. So it all depends on what you're looking for. I'm just trying to show you how versatile this is. And think about the opportunity size. Carl talks about it all the time. If you look at 12 businesses for sale right now in the United States, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, these English speaking countries, only one of 12 are actually selling. So there's a lot of extra meat on the bone there. There's a lot of businesses that you have to go ahead and expect when you talk to a business owner. It may talk 10 different business owners to find before you find one or two businesses that are going to be a really good fit for you. That leaves the opportunity for you to help all the rest of them. People that still have high mud scores, people who do have transfer value issues, but your skill set, your expertise, your experience, if you're staying in your lane, you may have an opportunity to help those people get paid handsomely from day one, no money out of pocket. And when you feel it's applicable or appropriate, or if you want it, you can also get equity in the business. A lot of different things you can do there. So I want you to remember, business owners are often looking for relief to from their problems. Like they're looking for relief from their symptoms, and it's not always just about selling the business. So I want you to think about, while we're talking, this isn't just talking to people who are already wanting to sell their business. You have 100 times larger of a market of all these other business owners that you can target for consulting for equity besides just people for sale. But that was strategy number two. Somebody who's already pursuing acquisitions, you can literally turn any deal into a possible deal, because there's people where you can't buy the business, but you can help grow it and then be able to buy it later. You have the ability to help grow it and help them sell it later. You have the ability to help merge it with something else and take a piece of the pie. You can help people sell it. There's all these different opportunities. That leads me to number three. Now, this is my buddy Mark Adams. Mark is one of our instructors. He's brilliant. And he does this. He helps business owners get the exit they're looking for and have a way to not pay a lot of taxes. And he gets paid retainer fees continuously through the process. He gets big upside when the business sells, and there's little to no risk at all. I mean, it's brilliant. This is a way that a lot of you who have the ability to do this, maybe you're really good at getting businesses prepped for sale. Maybe you're a certified exit planner. Maybe you're a CFO. Maybe you're a CPA. You have this ability. Maybe you're an attorney. Maybe you've been an action coach or an EOS implementer for a long time. Maybe you're a student or disciple of Nick Bradley and you've been learning how to get businesses ready for exit. This is a great opportunity to take somebody and take them to the promised land, get paid handsomely the entire way, as well as make money at the last part of the journey. Okay. Number four, helping businesses grow through acquisition. I can't tell you how many people are now mentoring under me and under Carl who are switching away from even looking to buy businesses, but instead helping companies grow through acquisition. Think about larger companies. We'll talk about companies maybe over 5 million in revenue. How hard is it for them to double their market share, double in size, leveraging traditional sales and marketing, going out and spending all this money on sales and marketing and business development? It's so much easier to buy an existing business. A lot of them don't want to have the expense of hiring a big M&A department or a giant M&A firm. So many of our students are starting to do this and helping people grow through acquisition, taking everything they've learned inside of our programs at Protege and other people who've studied under us at Dealmaker Wealth Society, maybe through CEO, and really going out and offering this as a service. And this is huge. I have several students I work with directly who are doing this, and it's been very, very powerful. Strategy number five, going back to what Dr. Sam's doing. He has a consulting for equity roll-up. And here's the secret with drag rights. It's the ability to go out there and talk to all these different businesses and get a piece of the pie to help them execute on a larger exit together. You can stick with one industry and have a single silo roll-up where you're going around to like all these different, let's say, HVAC companies, and you're helping someone who wouldn't have a chance in hell at selling their business, be able to sell their business be able to leverage all of the superpowers from these other businesses in the network, and have the ability to exit at a much higher multiple than they would be able to exit if they exited by themselves. So this is something that I see several people doing, and it's really, really interesting how you can tap into the power of roll-ups. People who are doing this usually have already solved a huge problem in a specific business, and they're going around solving that for somebody else. Also, I've seen in the medical field, kind of like what Dr. Sam is doing, where he's actually bringing an extremely lucrative profit center to practices that they don't have access to before. And people pay him to do that, and he gets equity in their company. So it's a brilliant strategy. I want you to be aware that this is something that you can have in your tool belt, right? Let's talk about hunting unicorns. Maybe a lot of people I see who mentor under us do go out and hunt unicorns. And I see this constantly. People who relentlessly pursue a special deal, a unicorn deal, a once in a lifetime deal, best in class company. The seller doesn't really want that much money. They have this insanely high MUD score, which is motivation, urgency, and distress. The SBA is salivating, saying, bring it to me. I will fund this deal immediately. All your SBA lenders. You have angel investors that say, hey, by the way, Chris, if you need an extra 10% down, I got you. This is exactly what I'm looking for. And it's got tons and tons of profit. And you're walking into 80 grand a month in profit right out of the gate. Unicorn hunting, right? Do those deals exist? 100%. And we had a lot of people close deals like that inside of our protege community. But what I find often is people spend months and even a year plus hunting unicorns, looking for that one specific deal. And I have two pairs of glasses on my desk at most periods of time. I think you've seen it if you've been to my trainings. I have my looking to disqualify glasses, right? Where I'm looking at everything, understanding that I have a very specific thing I'm looking for. And I'm not just going to settle for anything. I also have my glasses that I got to make this work. I only have one opportunity. Any concession I have to make, I'm going to get this deal done. And these are very dangerous glasses. Let's get that crap out of here. What I'm asking you to look at is putting on a third pair of glasses, right? And this third pair of glasses is saying, is there a deal here for me? Right? I want you to think about where you are in your life right now. So many people who've mentored under Carl, under myself, other coaches, are in this world where they need to make a leap from one train to another. They want to get away from their W-2. They want to get away from their 9 to 5, or they want to get away from the business that owns them, the job that they own, into something that's more of a passive owner investor. We have all these people with these aspirations, yet for whatever reason, we hunt unicorns. And if you look back 6 months ago and say, wow, I've spoken to all of these businesses. I've spoken to tons and tons of sellers. And there's a lot of businesses that didn't quite fit what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that $2 million plus business. I'm looking really for $1 million in EBITDA. It has to be able to be funded by the SBA. How many of those businesses could you have helped? Think about that. If you are like some of our proteges, you have spoken to literally dozens of sellers. You've looked at hundreds of deals. And yet, for some reason, instead of monetizing your journey, you don't. And there's a lot of things that could be different in your life if you would have done it a little bit differently. So that's one of the things I want you to think about today is why not monetize your M&A journey? Why not make money as you go, right? Some of the business owners don't put on the glasses where every single deal you're getting excited and you're saying yes to everything, right? I'm a big advocate and proponent of the concept of I'm defined by what I say no to in life, not what I say yes to. But when you have the ability to help people, you have the ability to make money as you go. How many of those deals could you have picked up at 5 grand a month, 10 grand a month? And how could that radically have changed your life over the last 6 to 12 months? So if you have been pursuing acquisitions or you are pursuing acquisitions, I'm just encouraging you to think about the concept of monetizing your journey, because really, if you do it correctly and you're really focused on off-market deal flow, you have a lot of opportunities at your disposal, and every single opportunity is a possible deal. Does this work wonderfully with brokers? No, because people who have their business listed on the open market didn't wake up this morning and say, you know what? I hope somebody comes to me, tries to weasel away and not buy my business directly, but try to get me to pay them. This is made for off-market deal flow specifically. It does work with some broker deals when the deal's been on the market for a long time, people who have a lot of distress, people have tight timelines, but you won't believe how powerful this strategy is, right? And think about some of my business partners. This is our 9-figure board here: Jeremy, Carl, Ross, Brittany, David, Andrew, and myself. Think about these people here. All of them have been doing consulting for equity deals this entire time. They have these skills that translate so well to so many businesses. Other deal makers have brought them in on their deals. They've found deals that they couldn't buy that have hired them or given them equity for free in their company just to help them fix the problem that was holding him back from doing the deals to begin with. This is where we've all made all our money. Like I've made millions and millions of dollars. Look at the tombstones behind me doing consulting for equity. And my buy box, my playpen is so much larger than everybody else's because I'm not constrained by just a few small perfect types of deals. So just some things to think about. I'm just giving you more tools in your tool belt, just opening your eyes, right? So on to the training again. Let's go to the 3 secrets to making consulting for equity easy with very little friction, because this is where the magic comes in. The idea of getting people to offer you equity in their companies, not you like a sleazeball asking somebody, hey, by the way, I think you should give me a part of your company. Like that's not the goal here. We have something called the equity partner angle, which is our unique way of getting people to offer us equity and not having a lot of friction and making it extremely magnetic. And it's so powerful if you learn how to do that, right? So the 3 secrets, here's secret number 1. Learn when to swing, right? And this is really about having the ability to predict success. Okay. Babe Ruth here pointing at the fence. He's ready to hit a home run. He only swings at pitches he knows he's going to knock out of the park, right? And I imagine pitching was a little less sophisticated than it is now. Think about the Red Baron. He's a fighter pilot. He's still alive. Fighter pilots who are still alive, who've had a lot of battle, and they've been in a lot of dogfights. They only went into fights where they knew they could win. Learn when to swing. We're defined by what we say no to in life, not what we say yes to. And it's not a negative thing to want to say yes, but you need to say yes to the times with integrity where you know you can predict success. And that's huge. And I want you to start with thinking about that same concept we talked about earlier. Is like, what do I have inside of me to trade for equity? Everyone has something. And we have a taking inventory system that I teach that helps you identify exactly what your superpowers are and why business owners would want to partner with you. But what is it? Is it your time? Is it your expertise, your resources, your wisdom, your connections, your capital? Is your credibility, your name, your audience? What is it? Your Rolodex? What do you have to trade for equity? And I want you to think about this. People are buying you. At the end of the day, they're buying you. They're buying your ability to predict success. They're buying your skills, your resources, your expertise, your connections, all these things we talked about, right? That's why people want to do business with you. That's why they want to bring you on as a partner. And friction comes from uncertainty. We talked about 3 secrets to make consulting for equity frictionless. And that's really being able to predict success, right? And when people have a lack of confidence and you have a lack of confidence in yourself, they're not going to work with you in that way. Secret number 2, you got to learn the art of discovery. Listen, I teach salespeople every Friday. We actually own a sales training and recruiting and management company. I've been training salespeople for over a decade. And this is what I tell them: no pain, no sale. You got to learn how to find the bleeding problems. People don't go to the hospital for a scratch. People don't solve front burner or back burner problems. They solve front burner problems, right? So learning the art of discovery, learning the process of asking the right questions to uncover these core issues is absolutely key. And the reason why this is so powerful is because it allows you to shift the entire dynamic. And I want you to be clear, if you've been studying under Carl for a long time or myself, this is a very different set of questions than the normal seller questionnaire inside of Dealmaker CEO or 10-day launch. This is a set of questions that's very, very focused from a consulting from equity standpoint. And I want you to have kind of a paradigm shift here when you're asking these questions. You're not trying to check some boxes to see if this fits your buy box. Instead, you're seeking to understand. You're taking inventory of all the problems, and we're focusing on the concept of quantifying your impact or quantifying the scale of the problems that they're experiencing to see how much money the business will make or save, or how big of a problem this is for someone. And one of the things I want to talk about is the emotional side. Being a business owner is very emotional. I don't know if anybody here has sold a house. Let's just go to the chat real quick. There's buyers and sellers when it comes to a house. Put a 1 in if you've actually sold a property, not bought one, sold one. Yep. And I'll tell you right now, I've sold hundreds of houses. I've sat in hundreds of closings, and I've worked with hundreds of sellers. And I'm telling you this right now, being a seller is much more nerve-wracking than being a buyer. Owning a business or looking at someone who may come in and be afraid that they say your house is ugly or your baby is ugly or your business is ugly. And it's very nerve-wracking, right? There's so many emotional triggers around selling a business as well as owning a business. And if you learn how to tap into them, it can be very, very powerful. So I have this training called the 5 fundamental equity or discovery questions, and I have a whole worksheet on it. It's really powerful. We'll go over a couple of those in just a second, but very, very, very powerful stuff. And when you learn how to ask the right questions, what I love about it is it changes everything. So let me teach you secret number 3. It's called the advocate shift. The advocate shift is very simple. It's how I make them my advocate I'm sorry, how I make them so I'm their advocate, not somebody who wants something from them. That's the advocate shift, right? So it's the idea of shifting the dynamic, the conversation. I want to think of it like a guidance counselor conversation, like someone would be talking to an expert consultant that they sought you out looking for you to help them solve their problem. It changes everything. So the advocate shift is 2 parts. One, when you're talking to somebody and you have the ability to shift the conversation to say, hey, listen, I'm not sure if this is going to be a great fit, regardless of whether I buy your company or not. My goal is to help you. I think your business is great. I like you. I'll do everything in my power to connect you to somebody else if it's not a good fit for me, right? And then that lets them kind of shift the dynamic away from being somebody who's guarded and their walls are up to somebody who's welcome to put their arms down. One of the things with consulting is learning how to pull out the pain and also show them through the quality of the questions you ask that you are an expert, you are a safe pair of hands, and you're creating this magnetism where they want you. They feel like you've been the person they've been looking for. And just learning how to ask the right questions is a very, very powerful process. And this is what I teach a lot, right? And I love this. And I've had this guidance counselor conversations with so many people. And I'll give you one of my secrets today. I don't teach everybody this, but it's something called leading to negative. Leading to negative. Here's what I found. I teach sales. I want you to know that in advance. Leading to negative is a very powerful strategy. If you can get someone talking about things that are negative, if you can get someone to, excuse my language, bitch or complain, somebody to bellyache, my dad used to call it, right? It changes the entire dynamic. A lot of times when you talk to somebody, they feel a little guarded. They feel like you want something from them. And this is a very, with integrity, very sincere way to do it. You can change that dynamic very, very quickly by asking them questions that only could be answered with negative answers, right? So I want to give you a couple examples. When I'm teaching leading to negative, it's like, what frustrates you the most about blank? What used to work that no longer works, right? Questions that can only give you a negative answer. And when you leverage emotional conversation triggers and emotional discovery sessions, I'll give you an example here on the left. I ask clusters of questions. I can't get into that too deep because this is a short training instead of just one question. But cluster 1 on the left, what keeps you up at night? This is a very powerful thing, right? I didn't say what makes you the most excited about your business. What do you love most about your business? I'm not asking open-ended questions. I'm saying what keeps you up at night? And more specifically, what are you worried about in your business that's going to break? And what's making you nervous right now? Like, I'm going to get nothing but answers that are starting to pull out pain. And this is where you can really change the dynamic of the conversation to more of an advocate and a consultant where they put their walls down and you can really find out what's going on, which is going to open up a lot of doors for you. And this is not manipulative. This is actually to help them. Cluster number 2, what are your superpowers? This is really focused around finding misalignment. There's a lot of times when business owners feel like they're doing things that are below their pay grade, doing things that doesn't allow them to feel like they're in their area of expertise, doing things that they don't want to be doing, right? So I ask questions like, what are your superpowers? More specifically, does your current role in the business align with what you do best and what you want to do? How many hats are you wearing? You're gonna get answers like, man, actually, I'm stressed out. I'm doing way too much. I'm wearing multiple hats. I'm really great at this, but I'm bogged down with this. Like, you're finding all these open areas of opportunity for you to step in. Think about talking to somebody who owns a company, somebody who's looking to sell their company. They're talking to you as a prospective buyer. You stop them very quickly. Hey, this may not be exactly what I'm looking for. I want to say that up front. With that being said, I really like you. I really like your business and what you stand for. So I'll do everything in my power to help you, even if it's not me. I have a great Rolodex of people who are also looking to buy businesses. I have a very strong Rolodex of people who are great at growing businesses and solving problems. So let me ask you, like, what keeps you up at night? Like, changing the entire dynamic. It's a very, very powerful thing to do. One of the things I also want to talk about is the concept of solving people's problems with no strings attached, like very, very small problems. Help build relationships with people and leverage the ability to solve their problem and add value to their business and their life as the building blocks of that relationship. It allows you to become the authority, right? And give freely and give often. Don't be afraid to teach people even some of your best stuff. because you can't have this abundance of scarcity or holding it to myself. You want to become very magnetic, and demonstration builds reputation, especially if they don't know you. They don't know what you stand for. They don't know your track record. You have to demonstrate and flex a little bit, and it's very, very powerful, right? So, kind of getting to the end here, how do we land multiple equity stakes this year? Here's my plan for you. Number one, you just got to make it a priority. I'm going to focus on consulting for equity. I'm going to focus on it. I know this is a path that I can really excel at. I know I want to monetize my journey. I'd also encourage you to mentor under me. I do it at a very high level. I do it with Carl. I have some other instructors like Dan and Mark who do it at a very high level, but learn the ways that I can teach you uniquely that no one else teaches. Learn my level of the art of discovery and my methods. Learn how to leverage the equity partner angle and get people to offer you equity in their company. Become so magnetic because you've gained so much authority, leveraging my 6 P's to gaining authority, that people are offering you equity every day. And it's going to take time to get there. It's going to take time, but man, it's so much easier. I go back to day one in real estate, residential resale, selling houses, buyers and sellers. I remember the first day orientation, this guy's on stage telling me about how I have to cold call, telling me how I have to pick the phone up. Activity leads to productivity. You got to make, and you know what I figured out that day? I said, damn, that's not for me. That's not for me. How can I make my phone ring? That led me to my career of being a lead generation specialist. That moment of saying, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the person always asking people to give me a shot. I want to become so damn good and so magnetic that people come to me offering me equity in their company. I want people calling me every day because they want me to represent them to buy and sell a house. I want people calling me. And within about 6 months, I had over 1,000 leads a month coming in. I was on the phone all day long, receiving calls, not making calls. And that's what this is all about. You don't want to wake up every day and have to prove yourself. You want to learn how to gain authority by doing the right activities where you don't have to prove yourself anymore. Your price tag does nothing but go up and you become a hot commodity. And I can show you how to do that, right? We're going to go over all those strategies real quick, just to make sure these fully sink in. Strategy number one, help someone solve a bleeding problem in their business. Number two, you can flip your current deal flow. Somebody who's out there talking to sellers every day. You can flip your current deal flow, learn the catch-22 phrase, figure out how to turn these deals into consulting for equity opportunities. People who have the ability to help business owners exit their business. Maybe this is your background. You have a lot of money sitting here on the table. So many businesses are not at a position where they can exit. They have issues the bank gets nervous about. Buyers don't want them. Help people sell their businesses. Number four, you can help businesses grow through acquisition. It's a great way to make money. You can do it a lot cheaper than they can to hire an M&A firm. You can do it a lot cheaper than it would cost them to go out and build an M&A department. And you can leverage all the skills you've been learning for years with Carl on how to be able to do that and help people grow through acquisition. Number five, consulting for equity roll-ups. Man, you've solved a really big problem. You're great at adding a specific profit center to someone's business. You've been really successful growing a very specific type of business, maybe that you've exited in the past. And now you're going to go around to other businesses that were like you, that you can help get to the next level and give them a chance to sell at a much higher multiple by doing roll-ups together. It's a very powerful strategy. And there's more than that. There's more than that. I teach a lot of stuff besides that. There's also the idea of trading your time for equity. This is something someone younger, somebody who's still, we say, green or wet behind the ears, who doesn't have a lot of experience or authority. You can go in and help someone exit their day-to-day activities and help them relieve stress and be able to take over their business for equity. There's a lot of ways to do that. There's so many people out there who have heirs, they have sons, they have daughters, they have children that don't want a damn thing to do with their business at all. And they're looking for someone to pass the baton on to, somebody that they can do a knowledge transfer to. So there's a path for you, even if you're not highly skilled, even if you're brand new to this. I'll give you a story. There's a guy named Jay. I used to sell a lot of houses to. He's a Craigslist lead for a $30,000 house. I sold him, I think, a dozen houses and very expensive houses too. But that's how I found him. And he called me one day. He's like, Chris, I really like you. I have all these trailer parks I own. And I wanted to see if I could bring you in and teach you the business and then let you inherit this business from me. And he was asking me to be his heir. And I told him no because I was too busy, but he found somebody else. But I'm going to tell you, there's people all over the place like that. I was talking to a guy at Bowling League a couple days ago, good friend of mine, Josh, and he was talking to somebody he knew who was in their 60s, who owned an HVAC company, and it wasn't really built out, not a lot of infrastructure, doesn't really necessarily want to hand it off to his family, and he's looking for someone to be his predecessor. There's so many ways to do this, right? It also can be someone who's looking for you to duplicate the success that you've had in one business, but in their business. So many people say, Chris, I saw you. I saw that. I see you know how to grow companies. I saw that you 10x that company. Can you come do that for me? And you could say, hey, I only work in companies I own. or that I'm a partner of, be happy to have that conversation. It's so magical, really, really cool stuff. If you ever seen the movie or the show Suits, you see it all the time. They're like, whoa, this company and this company, we can merge them together and take big fees and take ownership. Carl's done this several times. It's a very powerful strategy to be the middleman and connect two businesses together and take a piece of equity. It's massive. You can get a transaction happen too. It doesn't have to be just a merger. You can actually bring a buyer and seller together, and you can take a percentage of the business, or you can take big success fees. So just remember that. My goal here today was to show you that how every opportunity could be a potential deal.